Morning everybody. So the first leg of the London Classics is complete. Ride 100 miles through the Cotswold hills yesterday. Oh, that hurt. And it was not without its dramas, and there is some question over whether I'll get the medal even though I've completed it, but I'll tell you about that in a second. Before I do, let's talk about the colours, because I'm wearing blue today and that's about living. So there's the three green behaviours: thinking, communicating and improving. Those are the things that, if you have them in your diary in the right proportion, will take you, your people and your organisation upwards, make you better. Then there's monitoring and directing, the amber behaviours, and those are the things that will maintain status quo, keep things where they are and manage risk. Then there's red, doing, and brown, floating. And those things, if you have them in your diary, will take you, your people, and your business backwards, actually make you worse. And then there's another one that I don't talk about often, anywhere near often enough, and that's blue. And blue is living. And that's not about doing anything at work. That's about your personal life. That's about looking after your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. And that's what I was doing yesterday. So for those that you don't know, I committed to complete the London Classics this year. You don't have to do them all in 1 year, but I chose to. And that is completing the London Marathon, Ride London 100 and Swim Serpentine. It's just basically one massive triathlon over different days. Probably not far off what an Ironman would be, I suppose, but just not on the same day. So anyway, yesterday was the first leg, Ride London, and obviously because of what's happened with coronavirus, you couldn't complete it in the location, so you had to complete it at your own location, and they gave you an app called My Prudential Ride London, and you select what distance you want to do, and it then tracks you. So yesterday morning I set off from Tetbury at 9:10 a.m. and then at about 5:45, something like that, yesterday evening, I arrived back after doing actually what was about 101 miles. And the reason I did 101 miles is because at 58.6 miles, so at this point I'd gone out through Northleach, off to the Slaughters, up to Broadway Tower, then down Broadway Hill, past Evesham, out to Hinton on the Green, Breedon Hill, and here we are, we get to about Overbury. And the app stopped tracking my location. So it froze at 58.6 miles. And at this point I'm thinking, so what do I do now? And bear in mind, this app will not stop its timer. So the time just keeps ticking on and keeps ticking on. So at this point, I'd probably done somewhere near 5 hours, maybe. Actually, I think it was less than that, but of course the timer wouldn't stop and I had to figure out how the app worked. We couldn't fix it. So I had to turn on Strava to record the other 41.4 miles. So that's what I did. So Strava was turned on at that point, and then I went back from Overbury to Ashchurch, past Cheltenham, Gloucester, from Gloucester to Stonehouse, and down one massive cycle track, which was the worst terrain to cycle on. A lot of mine wasn't actually, well, a lot was done on roads, but there was a large proportion on cycle tracks, which are terrible. So I think I've done more than the Ride 100 just because of the terrain. So there is some question over whether they will honour the result. I mean, I obviously have evidence for it, and I suppose above all else, I'll know that I did the 100 miles. I just may not get the medal for it, which would be really gutting. But yeah, it was hard work, but it was blue behaviour and it was living. And the reason it's living is because if there's one thing you cannot do when you're on a 100-mile cycle, grinding it out, is think about work, because your mind is on way too many other things. And I should put a big shout out to my wife, Emma Causa. She actually supported me on the ride. She took a spare bike, food and everything in the back of the car, and she met me at various points around the course. Spent a whole day doing this, bless her. So it's very much a team effort. So yeah, first leg is done. It's all for charity. And so if you would support me, I would really appreciate it. Next one is probably going to be Swim Serpentine, which is a 2-mile swim. And then the last one will be the London Marathon. So I'll put some links in the comments below. So if you wouldn't mind supporting me either by sponsoring me or by buying my book, because all the proceeds go to the charity, then I'd really appreciate it. 1 down, 3 to go. Have a great day. Have a great week.